Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I am starting this video off right off the bat because I don't want it to be crazy long. If you're really interested in the collab between me and Dance Junkie, why we're doing a sugar school, and an exciting little mini giveaway that I'm doing, don't forget to check out the other video that I will link down below for you. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. Alright, I am starting off by putting on my Dance Junkie Sugar School Collection headband. I did purchase this with my own money. I just really wanted to make sure that I had something from the collection in this video. Anyway, I am starting off by blocking out my eyebrows. This is not necessary. I did do a Halloween tutorial a few years ago with the Sugar School where I didn't, but I think it just looks a little better and a little more clean if you do. Basically, the process of this is taking a glue stick, any glue stick will work, and rubbing it all over your eyebrow. Like, it should feel absolutely ridiculous. Then let that dry and repeat that process 2 more times about. And then take it and with either like the back of tweezers, some kind of like spatula, or your finger if you happen to have really nice nails, like I did, and scrape out some product and really just coat your brows one last time with like extra amount of glue and brush through them. This process is a little more complicated than I initially thought. I would recommend watching some tutorials on it that aren't mine because this was my first time doing it. And then I did, as you saw, set them with some powder, and then I covered them with foundation. I was using a really old foundation stick, so I had to like dig my finger in to get the product out. That is why I was doing that. You can just rub the stick over your eyebrows. That'll work just fine. And then I took a sponge and just blended it out. And after I got that foundation on there nice and blended, I did go ahead and set them. You can add more foundation if you want to cover them a little more. I personally didn't think it was fully necessary. I just wanted them not so they weren't so dark and in the way for this look. Then I went ahead and started painting my face white. Initially, if you're confused why there are black circles on my eyes, I had originally planned to outline what I wanted on the face, but I realized it would be a lot easier to paint the whole face white than have to go and paint around my drawings. So I went ahead and just covered my face in white water activated paint. This is from Mayron. All the paints I use in this video are from Mayron. I have like I think a 28 or 30 color palette. Might be more than that, might be a little less. But I have a palette from them that is just a bunch of paint. I highly recommend it. I think it's really great. And then I used a beauty sponge after the foundation brush just to blend it all in. Like you would foundation. And then I took a cap from a cream eyeshadow and I actually used it to outline a circle because I didn't want my circle to be like awkwardly lopsided, and this was really helpful. Like anything you can work, don't push too hard, don't give yourself red marks, like just to outline the shape. And then I went ahead and I started outlining my designs. I started with the Dance Junkie footprint, and the reason I started with this was because it was honestly the one that was stressing me out the most, and I wanted to make sure I had a lot of time and I wasn't like getting towards the end where I just wanted to be done, because that happens with these kind of looks. Towards the end you're just like, okay, I've been drawing on my face for like 5 hours, I'm done. So I started with that one to make sure I really had enough detail. And basically what I do for the next little bit of this tutorial is I go back and forth between an angled brush and Mayron water activated black paint, a flat brush and Mayron water activated white paint to kind of like erase my mistakes, and then I go in with a like more of a thin small felt tip liner and then more of like a fat felt tip liner. This is the small thin one I'm using right now. And I went in with both of those depending on what I was doing and what I was drawing, and I kind of played it by ear whether I wanted to use the angled brush or which felt tip liner. And I kind of just kept doing this with all of the things I draw on my face, the flowers, the outlines, everything. And so I'm going to actually just let you guys listen to some music and jam a little bit while you watch me put makeup on my face. here is where I start to add in the pink paint. I took a flat brush because I just felt like this was easier to draw with. Any brush that you think will be easier for you will work. And I took a pink water activated paint from Mayron again, and I just kind of filled in the flower. And then after I did that, I went back in with the black, depending. Sometimes I would use the paint, usually the paint because it blended the best, but there were times where I wanted to use the eyeliner if I wanted a sharper line, just to reiterate those outlines that I had created earlier. And then I did the flowers again on my cheekbones, and I basically repeated the exact same steps for this. The other thing I do want to mention for this tutorial, and I'm not 100% sure if I've done it at this point, I feel like I have. If I messed up and I didn't like what I did, basically I would take my sponge, because it was damp, wipe it off, and that's what I love about this being water activated paint, and the eyeliner wiped off pretty easily too. And I would just wipe it off, repaint my face white, and then I would draw it again, and it worked out great. I know I definitely had to do that for the lines coming out of the cheekbones because I definitely realized I wanted them a lot higher, and I originally drew them way lower. But yeah, again, basically it's just repeating steps, and I'll be back in a bit to talk through this some more. Alright, so for the eyes, I did start off by painting them white. Honestly, I think it would be easier if I did this look again, I would have just painted them white from the get-go because it did cause a little bit of issues with like blending the paint together. In the long run, it was quite difficult. But I did the same thing as earlier, used the sponge to blend it all out. I still have those black lines from earlier, but don't worry, those end up not mattering. And then I did make sure that I definitely set it with a Tarte setting powder to hopefully my eyes didn't crease. I didn't notice a lot of creasing, but if you have like a white eyeliner pencil that you could fill this part in with, at least right around where you're going to put eyeshadow, I think that would work best. And then I initially went in with the Coastal Scents Smoky palette, but then I realized that it just wasn't giving me enough pigment for this look. I really didn't want to have to keep building up the color because I was already reaching a point where I was done and wanted to be done. So I do actually switch to the Urban Decay Electric palette. The Coastal Scents one will definitely 100% work. I just think that the electric palette worked a lot better and a lot faster because it was way more pigmented. Keep in mind that the electric palette does kind of stain your lids because it's so pigmented. But yeah, I went ahead and I started by applying pink to the lid, and then I blended it all out. And basically you're gonna blend this around your entire eye. Like, don't be shy with this. You're a freaking dead person. These are kind of acting as like the bags under your eyes type thing that you would if you were like a zombie. Basically I just took this pink and I went to town. I had a great time with it. I was really having a lot of fun. I used a blending brush for the majority of this, but I also used a flat packing brush, like a flat definer brush. Not like definer, I'm struggling with words. Just a flat brush to pack on the color to the lid fully. And then I went ahead and I outlined the little circles around my eyes with a kohl eyeliner. I used a kohl eyeliner for this part because I wanted to make sure that it would blend later on, because I had this ombre from black to pink idea that I had in my head, and I'm really glad that I used a kohl eyeliner. That, and I think it was easier to get a good circle shape with a kohl rather than anything else. And then I took a black eyeshadow. I used NYX Cosmetics Hot Black because it is so pigmented. I'm obsessed with it. It's my all-time favorite black. And I basically just went all the way around the edges and filled in the black. And then I started to blend. Now here you might notice that my brow hairs did kind of start to stick out a little bit. I really wish that I had practiced filling in my brows a little more, because you might not have noticed them as much, but honestly in the long run it worked out fine. I don't expect anyone to be pros at this. Clearly I am not pros at this. I've never filled in my eyebrows before this day. But then I also went in with the shade Jilted, and this was the brush I was talking about. I don't know why I kept saying flat definer brush, but I did. And I went around the edges just to help blend into that pink. Jilted is nice like a hot pink and a purple. And then I also used the purple shade, which I cannot think of the name right now. Freak Show, I want to say, something like that. Freak, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be completely wrong. And I basically went back and forth with Jilted, the purple shade, and then the hot pink shade. And I blended them all together until I was really happy with the ombre effect. It's basically just a lot of back and forth, a lot of blending until you're happy. And then I went in with the black eyeshadow, and I also kind of contoured these cheekbones a little bit. I wanted to hollow them out. I didn't want to just have lines there. Sorry I go a little bit out of frame for this part. Super sorry, I'm the worst. And I kind of like blended this hollow cheekbone area-ish thing into that black like contour area that we have before. And I just kind of wanted to add some shadow and definition there. And then I went in with actually the Urban Decay Jilted eyeliner pencil. It's the exact same shade as Jilted. Any like purple, pink will do. You can also use black if you really want. It's up to you. And then I'm using Zerido lashes in the style Goddess. I absolutely love these lashes, but you do not need to spend that money. Oh goodness, I just lost my voice. Ardell has wonderful lashes. I think those are amazing. They're super cheap. You can get them at the drugstore. Just go to the store, have some fun, pick out some fun lashes. Honestly, I don't think lashes are something you need to spend a lot of money on. But then I repeated the same flower process for the flower on the chin. I got a little lazy with this one and kind of outlined a general shape, but for the most part I used paint to correct this because I really just, at this point I was like, I'm so close to done. I can see the finish line. I have been sitting here in this bright light for like ever. I was done, and I was also being a perfectionist. Like, you guys missed a lot of the times where I erased and started over, and whew, I was done. So one thing I will really definitely say is practice drawing on your face before. Like, I'm not an artist, but just make sure you do that. And then I outlined everything, including all the way around my face. And then I did put on mascara. The reason I waited to do it was because I wanted to make sure my lash glue had dried at that point. And then I went in with a glitter. I believe this one was from KK Cosmetics. I do not remember the name. I will have it listed down below for you. And I went ahead and I put this all over my lid, and then I also put it on that top flower. That was the only flower I put it on though. And then I decided to put on a black bandana. I would have really liked to have had a black wig, but I could not find mine. So I just put on this black bandana, and I think it looked kind of cool, kind of like a, I don't know, I just thought it looked kind of cool. It worked. If you don't have a black wig, black bandana works fine. And then I painted my neck black. I don't know why the neck paint ended up being really streaky in the end and not super opaque. I was using water activated. I think in the future I would probably use some, I don't know why it ended up looking streaky. Maybe I need alcohol activated paints. If you guys know a lot about painting, that would be great. I have only done body paint. I've only dabbled in it. I haven't done a lot of it lately. This is kind of one of my first big face paint looks, and I'm real excited about it. I think it turned out great. I just wish that the paint hadn't ended up being so streaky. And then I also took some of that paint and put it on the center of my lips to add some like dark creepiness to my skull face. Yeah. Anyway, make sure you go ahead and check out that other video if you're interested in that giveaway and or why I chose Dance Junkie. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe. Do not forget to check out Dance Junkie. You will not regret it. You will regret it if you don't. Yeah. And have a beautiful day. Bye.